All right. It's 4/22/26, and you're live on House Calls tonight with your man, Dr. Rory T. Edwards. And so there's two things I'm revealing tonight. One, you see it. This side, I don't even know what hand to use. The camera got you. There you go. This hand. I'm rocking tomorrow for my New York Giants. This our year. For so many fans that are Giant haters, you've had opportunities. We have our opportunities, but I've been a Giant fan for 55 years. So if you can top that, then talk to me. But bottom line is, I think we're going to have a good season. We're going to have something to cheer about this year. But we're not here to talk about the New York Giants. We're here to talk about house calls. But it makes it really, really funny because tonight's episode is titled The Joneses versus the Dynasty, and what standards are you chasing? And so for me, it's really funny because I got Jones blood in me. See, my father's mother was a Jones before she became an Edwards. So I got Jones blood in me. So some of this is funny because I'm talking about myself. But how many, let me ask you something. And I don't want a quick answer. I want you to think about it while you answer this. But I want a real answer. Who are you trying to keep up with in your life? I mean, so many people are chasing so many things, and no matter what activity, what line of work you're in, if you're trying to strive for the highest level, you're trying to keep up with somebody. Because many of us have been running a race our entire life, and you don't know who set the finish line. You're just running, right? We heard growing up, and this is something that probably is a cultural thing for African Americans. It was always said that don't be trying to keep up with the Joneses. I don't know who made that up. I don't know where it came from. I might have some listeners out there who are a little more mature than I am, and they can give me the definition on how you're keeping up with the Joneses. Because in reality, what the Joneses scenario is that you want to make sure your house looks right, your car looks right, your life looks right, your jewelry looks right, something that people can respect. But what if I told you, while you're trying to look successful, someone else was building something that did not need to be seen to be powerful? Now, let me put the disclaimer in. We understand there have been a lot of political policies. There have been some things that have been put in place to prevent some groups of people to succeed at the same level of other people. We know that. But again, if your mentality is that you're chasing something for appearance, you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, right? So, but what if I told you, I want you to understand this. See, this isn't about black and white. That's what I want to say off the top. It's not about black and white. I don't know what other cultures say. There might be cultures that are operating in America who say you need to keep up with somebody. And that's a standard that people sort of elevate to define the success. But this isn't about black or white. This is about mindset versus mindset. So one is chasing appearance, right? The other is building legacy. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference. One is chasing appearance. You want to be seen successful, but do you leave something that can be transferred from generation to generation to generation? That's what generational wealth really is. That's building legacy. And what if we don't have the conversations, and if we don't have these conversations honestly, we will continue to win moments, but lose generations, right? If we don't have these conversations and say, listen, I need to start understanding how the system works because I need to be a part of the system. I don't need to dominate the system. I need to be a part of the system so I can set up my children's 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 children's. That's the difference in building a dynasty. So let me give you the diagnosis, because, when you sit up here with Dr. Rory T. Edwards, I got to give you the diagnosis. So why is this happening? The truth is, many of us were conditioned to believe that success must be visible to be valid. It has to be visible to be valid, right? When we go out, we got to have all the designer wear. We can't even spell half of the designer wear. We don't know who the person is who created it, but if we have it on, it makes people believe that we are successful. It makes people believe that we have something. But then when you get back in the car after the event, you over there on your phone trying to calculate if you're going to be able to pay your mortgage or your rent. You're going to be able to pay your light bill, pay your car payment, to make sure that the school that you put your children in, the private school, you're going to be able to make that payment because you had to come out tonight to be visible. So that's what we're trying to talk about, because success doesn't come with visibility. It comes with being valid. And it comes with designing something that is generational. So when you come from a history where you had to fight to be seen, fight to be acknowledged, fight to be respected, you just don't want success. You want proof of your success. And how's that proof in most cases? Visual. So you put on things, you put the gold in your mouth, you put all the jewelry on, you put all of this stuff. But then at the end of the day, or at the end of your life, you got a GoFundMe page for your funeral. I just got to be honest with people. I got to be honest with. So you measure up to what people can see, what you drive, where you live, how you show up. That's not ignorance. That's survival turned into identity. Right? But here's the problem. While one mindset is focused on showing success, the other mindset is focused on structuring it. Not for today, but for tomorrow and for the next generations after that. So let's talk about a discussion point one. Arrival versus continuity. Right? So when you talk about keeping up with the Joneses, that mindset is built on arrival. I made it. I earned this. I deserve to show it. And there's nothing wrong with celebrating your wins. But the question is, does your success end with you? So if you have success, does it end with you? Are you able to pass something on to your children? Are you able to pass something on to your children that they can grow to pass on to your grandchildren? And are your children able to pass something on to your grandchildren that your grandchildren can pass on to your great-grandchildren? That's what success does. And hopefully, if you're keeping up with the dynasty, success doesn't end with you. Because the dynasty mindset is it doesn't stop at arrival. It asks, what will still be here when I'm gone? That's what we have to think about. What will be here when I'm gone? You could be running around in all the luxury stuff, but when you leave us, if your house is not in a trust and you have to go to probate, all of that stuff can be lost. So you got to understand the process right here. That's the different levels of thinking. That's not about lifestyle. That's about lifespan. So here's a reflection prompt I want to talk about. Is what you're building designed to last beyond you or just to impress the people around you? Right? That's what I want you to know. Is what you're building designed to last beyond you or just to impress the people around you? So let's go to discussion point two, number quick. Visibility versus structure. We have been taught to validate ourselves through visibility. If they can see it, it must be real. If they can see it, it must be real. But real power doesn't always introduce itself. It moves in systems. It moves in ownership. It moves in quiet decisions that compound over time. The danger of chasing visibility is this. You can look successful, but you can still be fragile. Because what is built for appearance can collapse under pressure. And I want to share a little story real quick. Because I remember Ocho Cinco was saying that all the jewelry that he wore when he played in the NFL was costume jewelry. He said because people were just going to think it's real because he was wearing it. And that's a great way to think, because you go to places that you think you're going to be accepted, and what happens? The first person that sees you in those areas is going to rob you. And then they go to the pawn shop and it's worth like $5. So we got to understand, see, we're still trying to be seen to define success. So the reflection prompt that I want to add to this discussion is, if everything you showed the world disappeared tomorrow, what would you still own? Ownership is power. It's not about leasing, renting, borrowing, whatever you consider that this is yours. If you're leasing, borrowing, renting, got a loan out for this, if it's not paid in full, it's not yours. Somebody who gave you that capital to get that, it's theirs. So that's what I'm saying. If you want to keep up with the Joneses or you want to keep up with the Dynasty, this is what we're talking about today. So discussion point 3, the myth of, I did this on my own. Now this one, how many times have we heard this one? This one is tough though for me. It's really tough for me because many of us wear self-made, I'm self-made, like a badge of honor. I'm self-made. Now I made this. Ain't nobody helped me to do nothing. Ain't nobody give me nothing. I came from the streets. I came from the gutter, and now I'm up on top. What's that song? Started from the bottom. Now I'm here. Where are you? Where really are you? I got it out the mud. That's what people say. I did this on my own, and I respect the grind. I respect the resilience. But one thing, nothing is built alone. I don't care what you say. There's nothing that's built alone. You had to get an inspirational word from somebody. You had to see somebody grinding to make sure that you didn't go through that pain. But so many people talking about, started at the bottom, now I'm here. Where are you? If you really look around, where are you? You're nowhere, because if you're talking about that from a record perspective and I got millions, what about the person who's signing your check? You ain't at the top, they at the top. You a worker for them. You making money and you are what's the name? You are disrespecting the people who look like you because you think you came from the bottom and now I'm here. You're not here. You're just there. You're there where they want you to be, and you're there because what they want you to do is exploit people who look like you. But let's keep going. Systems exist, structures exist, networks exist, and when you ignore systems, you limit your ability to scale, because efforts without structure will always hit a ceiling. Started from the bottom, now I'm here. I'm gonna give that cat some, he's gonna give me some money, he's gonna give me some royalties money, because I didn't say this song tagline about 5 times. If you know him, tell him, send me my royalty check, because I'm pushing his album out there, I'm pushing his song out there. But let me give you a reflection prompt. Are you building something that can grow beyond your efforts, or something that only survives because of your efforts? Right? This is the thing. When we talk about keeping up with the Joneses or designing a dynasty, we got to understand what a dynasty is. You see what I'm saying? So this is what I'm talking about today. We have to change our mindset. We have to change our collective bargaining. We have to change our collaborative working understanding of supporting one another, and stop worrying about keeping up with something that really doesn't exist. Right? So let's go into this, my closing call to action. This is not a tearing down about what you achieved. This is about elevating how you think. This is not, there's nothing wrong with wanting a nice life. I want a nice life. All of us want a nice life. All of us want to be able to do what we want to do when we have the ability to do it. Right? But don't let your life stop at what looks good. Because they say everything that glitters is not gold. You see what I mean? So we have to understand that everything that glitters is not gold, and everything around you that shines is not sunshine. Okay? So I want you to shift your mindset from proving to positioning. I'm going to say that again. From proving to people to positioning yourself to be the best that you can possibly be. From consuming to constructing. See, we quick to go in the store and buy $500 sneakers of somebody else, but we're afraid to construct our own sneaker to see if we can get some of that capital, right? From being seen to being sustained. Does that make sense to you? Being seen to being sustained. Because the goal is just not to make it. The goal is to build something that doesn't have to start over. I'm going to say that again because I know you really all don't get it. I want you to pass this on to everybody that you know. The goal is to build something that doesn't have to start over every time your name is no longer in the room. You don't build something that's only attached to you because that's selfish. And you talking about I love my children. You don't love your children if you're only building something to sustain your name. Because if you're going to build generational wealth, you have to build something that builds your children, builds your grandchildren, builds your great-grandchildren, and the futures behind them. That's what a dynasty looks like. And I understand, again, I'm going to go back to the policies that have provided us and prevented us from being successful in here. But everything that's built has a leaking spot. It does. So I'm going to leave you with this. Stop asking, how do I keep up? And start asking, what am I building that nobody can take from me? What am I building that nobody can take from me? I'm going to let that ponder on your spirit for a few seconds. What am I building that nobody can take from me? Well, today, this has been House Calls with your man, Dr. Rory Tierras. And today we did just check your pulse. We checked your foundation. We checked your foundation. Tell me what you're standing on when you're standing in the cut, when you're standing in the gap, when you're standing on something that you want to pivot on. What's your foundation built on? Sandstone or brick? Let me know. All right, this is what we're talking about today. Trying to keep up with the Joneses instead of trying to design a dynasty. All right? This is what we're doing. This is House Calls with your man, Dr. Rory Tierras. I appreciate everybody who joined in. Also want to say definitely thank you, my family, Kyrie Edwards Sr., on joining in and commenting. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to share information. We have to share information with those who come after us so that they understand that we do care about their legacy. We do. And so hopefully this made some sense to you tonight. And hopefully you can share this with people who are out there trying to be seen instead of trying to build success. All right? So until the next time we talk, God willing, next Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, right here on Facebook Live, it's your man, the one and only, Dr. Rory Tierras. Be well. Ashe.